Alright, this is my presentation of learning. The first skill that I'm going to talk about is my ability to peer edit. So a good, really representative of this skill is in the Heroes project that we did, which was we picked like a person in our life who we thought impacted us, and we read a story about their life and ours. So I chose my mom for this one, and I thought that this was a good thing to talk about peer editing because right in the beginning when we made our draft questions, we had to peer edit them to make sure that they're meaningful and allow like really the interviewee to really expand on the question. So next, I think that's good that peer editing comes into this because it allows like a new pair of eyes to really look at your work and catch all the mistakes that you could have made or like you might have looked over, because normally when you're reading your own work, you don't really notice the mistakes that you made. So by peer editing, I thought that it could really make your work the best it can be, and especially in this project, you want it to look professional, and it can't really look professional when there's like grammar mistakes or pretty much anything that can make it look good. So I thought that I was successful in like changing my work to the feedback that I got. Also, I feel that I was like really successful in giving honest feedback, but sometimes, like, when I'm peer editing, I would accidentally, like, look over some grammar mistakes or just, like, punctuation mistakes or anything, and I think that I can get better at that. Also, sometimes, like, when I'm grading friends, I tend to look over a lot of stuff, and I don't really, like, tell them what's wrong with it, so I think I can get better at really treating everyone, like, the same and giving sincere feedback no matter what. The second skill that I want to talk about is like writing grammar. So one good thing that I used writing grammar was in the Congo project, because you really want to use good grammar because you're trying to make it sound like really meaningful and you want it to like really affect the person. So you want to use good writing so that you can really get your point across. And I thought that when you're writing intelligently, you really have to have good correct word choices, and you want to make it sound a lot more professional than what you normally write. So also peer editing comes into this project also because, like I said, when you're having someone look at your work, they can catch all the mistakes you might have looked over. And especially in this because when you're writing a script and when you're reading from it, it's really easy to make mistakes because of the words that you put in there. I thought I was really successful in the Congo project because I chose the words correctly, and I thought that I had good grammar and writing in this project. I also thought that I got my point across by making a sentence that really affected the person or made them think about that. Something improvement, I can really put my own thoughts and feelings into this because when I'm writing, I normally don't talk about how I feel about it. I usually talk about how they feel about it or what's going on over there. And I think that it would make it more meaningful to have my thoughts actually put into a work, and it would allow them to see how I feel. Also, I think that when I'm writing, it would be better to really describe what's going on instead of just telling you what's going on. Like I could describe the scene or describe the person's feelings. The next skill is time management. And I thought that this project was really good for time management because when we were working with Ms. Calbro in the library lab, we had specific dates to really work on our work, and you had to get it done so that you don't fall behind. And I thought that it was really useful because when we were giving time, you have to use it wisely so that you don't go home with a lot of work still to do. Also, when she gives us deadlines, I think that it makes it easier to finish your work because you know exactly what you want to get done and what you need to get done. I think that I was really successful in completing my work because when I would usually get done what we were supposed to get done in that day, or the amount of time that we had. I used it pretty good, and I'd always finish it that day, or even if I don't finish it, I would always go back and do it later at home. I think that it was really, I thought that I was really also successful in doing this because there was a lot of chances for like me to like just slack off and like play games. Because even when Miss Cabra was sitting like in the back, and she wouldn't really come over to look, you kind of had to make the right choice to actually do work instead of like going on your iPad when she couldn't see. And one improvement was like when I'm at home and when I'm trying to finish my work, it's really easy just to like get distracted by games because there's no one really there to remind you to get back on task. So I think that I can work on that. Also, when I'm in class, I like to like rush the work to get it finished just so that I know it's done and not always doing the best work that I can do. And I think that I can improve on that because you can always take it home and do it later. So I think that you should really take the time to do good work in class because then you can always get feedback from the teacher or feedback from anyone else. The next skill I want to talk about is public speaking, and a good representative of this is the news report that we did earlier, which was really you pick an event that happened like earlier in the week or that same day if you're gonna do it that same day, and you just pretty much tell what happened and who was involved and stuff. And I thought that this was really good because it not only like allowed you to get practice in for speaking, but it also like informed you about what was going on. So I think that there should be like a lot more of these because it's like a casual way to get better at speaking in front of an audience. And I thought that because when you're speaking about a news report, you're not really putting your feelings in, so it's not that hard to present. I thought that I was successful in this because I presented my keynote pretty smooth and I gave all the facts and I answered questions pretty good. I thought that I was well prepared for this. But I can always like get better at memorizing the speech so that I don't have to use notes. And I thought that I kind of looked at the news report because it didn't really take a lot of time to prepare for it, which I can always do to get better. And talking more comfortably in front of people because I don't really do a lot of presentations, so it's kind of like I'm not really used to it, but I think that I can improve more. And the next one is my collaboration. I thought that the project that really like represented this thing was the Young project and building our system and going to Home Depot. So I thought that this was good because you really have to work together with your groups to really finish work and get things done because like instead of arguing all the time, which can take like a lot of your work away, it's easier when you work together with your group. You can like, even when you're not with your group and you split up, you can always know what you're going to do and it makes it easier to get things done instead of, because when you argue, it not only like takes away from your work and it also kind of like makes your group mad at each other, which is even worse. And I thought that my group was successful and I was successful in really working with each other and listening to each other to get things done. And I thought that because we're all pretty much friends in our group, we can really be honest with each other and like telling each other if we think that's a good idea or not. And by doing this, we save a lot of time from like making mistakes or doing things that we really shouldn't be doing. And I thought that we not only like work efficiently, but I think that in our group we can get better at like using our time wisely because sometimes we would be doing like 3 people would be doing a job that like really only one person needs to do. For example, like when we're sanding down our fence posts, we really only need one person to do that while the other people can go off doing other work. And I think that collaboration is really important in this because you need to be able to like trust your group to make sure you get everything done and work together to finish what you need to do. And I thought that our group was really good at this because we would usually get a lot of things done in a certain amount of time that we had, or the work days that we had. So I thought that our collaboration really improved, because in the beginning we were kind of slow at things and we really didn't work as fast. But now in the end, I think since we're getting into this topic more, we're like really working faster and we really want to complete this.
Done? Good. All right. Questions or comments?
I think it was really, really good. Like, I remember your news report, and you've gotten like way better at public speaking and being super comfortable, and you could tell you really memorized everything, and it was really easy to follow.
Do you think that your artifact of public speaking helped prepare you a lot for this presentation?
Well, I know like it helped me in the beginning of the year, but I'm not sure if. Yeah, I guess because it got me used to speaking in front of like a group of people that like my peers. Because the only other thing that we did was the POL last year, so I thought that was pretty
good. At the beginning of the year, I noticed you played a lot of games on your iPad and you were kind of engaged, but but you're not that way now. So at what point did you realize that, or was there a point at which you made a conscious decision to not do that, or did it just eventually just kind of?
I think watching that table get in so much trouble.
Okay.
Wait, not me.
No, yeah. Okay, so
Patreon.
so that you understood that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I didn't want to be the people that were always getting scolded and stuff. So.
No, because I noticed that, and I mean to tell you that I noticed that you've been much more engaged in class than in the beginning. So, good job. Any other comments or questions, guys? Comments or questions? Leo, you're uncharacteristically quiet today.
No, he's been so quiet lately, it's kind of weird, and he's been really nice.
Okay.